Welcome back, everybody. So let's proceed our work. What we've done so far is we've imported some modules and we've defined the OSEC past arguments, for example the actions, the user, and the IP. So the given arguments, it could be add and delete. Okay, so to add a rule and delete a rule, the user, it can be anything, and the IP address, it can be the IP address of the attacker. So let me proceed our work. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I am going to simply put define the SSH server IP address. As you can see here, SSH server, you can change it to your SSH server. The username is root, and the password you can here set your password. Okay, the action deck here is as follows. So what we are going to do here, let me goes out from this file, and if we do Iptables here -n, we distinguish some chains here: the input chain, the forward chain, the output chain in a Iptables. This is the firewall. So if you're gonna add a drop or jump target for a given IP address in the input chain, that IP address wouldn't be able to come in or send packet to come inside the network. That's the input. Okay, anything comes from outside to inside. The output, anything goes from inside to outside, and the forward, anything comes from an interface and forwarded to another interface. So for example, if I want to block the given an IP address 1.1.1.1, if I want to prevent it from accessing our network, I want to insert a rule on the input chain. You can provide here the protocol TCP, but I want to block all protocols. The source IP address is 1.1.1.1, and the jump target is drop. If we do Iptables -n capital L, as you can see here, block or drop all protocols or traffic from this source IP to any given IP address, to the destination IP address. So let's go ahead and make the tool mix it automatically for us. So here I have the input, or let me copy out these two lines. Let's vim test. Let's scroll down, and here defining, we can defining, this is a command, defining Iptables commands. So that's the Iptables commands. The first one is for the input chain, the second one is for the forward chain. So Iptables %s for string formatting, which would be replaced by the action.lower, and the action, as I told you, is add or delete. So Iptables add, but you are aware now that Iptables doesn't recognize this sort of actions, add and delete. So I am going to tell Iptables or Python, if you would find the action.lower is add, just go ahead and replace it with -i. Okay, and if you're gonna find delete, just go ahead and replace it with -d. That's where dictionaries comes in place. Okay, so this is a key value pairs value or data structure. I am going to tell it if the add. So let me fire up a Python interpreter here, and let me define this. And if we go ahead and do action dict, I'm going to call the value of the key add, as you can see here, is -i, and the same thing for delete is -d. Okay, so let's proceed our work. Now we are going to tell Python that this is we are going to construct the for example, let me give you an example. Let's assume that the action is add. So I am going to print, I am going to print the input chain. Okay, the input chain. Let's go ahead and execute the command here. For example, add 1.1.1.1 or the user first and the IP address. As you can see here, now iptables add input drop. So if we go ahead and execute the command, it would raise an error, as you can see here, because iptables doesn't actually is not capable of recognizing this drop. So we are going to replace it by I. I'm going to show you how to do that. Next, after constructing the iptables according to the action, of course, and getting the IP address, I am going to actually check for the IP address, because if the IP address is invalid, I don't need to go ahead and connect to the SSH and log stuff or log other stuff or something like that. So in order to check it, I am going to explain something called regular expressions. So regex are very powerful. You can do man regex if you are interested in, and this is the regular expression manual page. This is according to POSIX. So there's a lot of stuff here that's you're gonna be confusing of. It's gonna confuse you, my friends. So let me illustrate stuff or simplify stuff. So from the audio module, I'm going to import find all, or you can actually find all, or you can actually import audio module. Okay, so I am going to define a function is valid. The function accepts a parameter. So let me illustrate first functions. Anything. I am going to print anything. Okay. So if I am going to call the function with hello world is invalid. Okay, is valid. As you can see here, it would print hello world. Anything. Okay. For example, you can pass integer. You can pass a list. You can pass whatever you want. So let's define the function again, and we're going to pass the IP. And if re.findAll, this is the function that would actually do the bidding for us. I am going to tell it, just go ahead and ignore case. This is case sensitive, and I am going to pass it a text. The text or the IP. Okay. The pattern actually is as follows. I am going to tell it, just bring me anything that starts with 10. Okay, just to simplify things. This is the regular expression that actually start with anything start with and 10 here. Okay, you can put here, for example, 16 or 172. If this is true, return true, else return false. Okay, so if we call is valid with a given IP address, for example 10.1, this is false because it's not started. It's not start with 172. But if we provide an IP address that starts with 172, it's gonna be true. That's why here I'm putting anything that starts with \d. So what is \d? \d is any character. Okay, so let's define the function again, and I am going to tell it anything that starts with 172 points \d, any character but only one digit. If we're gonna provide plus, any number of digits, 5, 4, 6 digits, for example, it could be 5555 up to another data type. Okay, so \d plus point \d plus point 1. So I am going to tell it brings me anything that starts with 172, any kind point, any number point, any number point 1, and point 1, and the IP address must end with 1 because the dollar sign indicates must end with 1. Okay, so let's return true, else return false. So is valid. Let's provide 172.255 point anything, but let's provide 1 here. This is true. Let's provide 2. This is false. Let's provide 5. This is false. Let's provide any kind of number here. False. But if we put 1, this is true. So let's continue. If it's valid, I am going to tell it if any digit start with any digit, but I am going to do here a combination of OR operations, or any digit, double digits, -d, or actually anything start with 1, with 0 to 9 and 0 to 9. What this means, simply put, I am going to tell it just goes ahead and bring me anything that starts with 1 digit or 2 digits or another digits, but only the digits that start with 1 and ends to 999 or 9, from 0 to 9. For example, here it could be 11, 12 up to 17, 11, 12 up to 19, and another boolean here, or operation, 2, and from 0 to 5, because IP addresses start from 0, which is the network ID, up to 255, which is the broadcast address. Okay, so let's return true, else return false. So is valid. So now remember, any kind of IPs here, any number. But if we provide 555 or any number from 0 to 255, okay, so 0 from 1, okay, any number from 0 to 255. Let's provide 255.1.5.1 is valid. Okay, I made a mistake here, so this is true. If we put 2, this is false because we told it that must end with 1. But if we put here 256, this is false because we've told it that numbers or valid numbers are from 0 to 255. So you can actually copy this and copy it out to other sections, and you got my little function. Okay, this is great, but this is all for this. That's all for this video. Hopefully you like it. I'm gonna record another part talking about this tool. Thank you.